on this channel we have covered a lot of monsters that allegedly live in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea, and I'm shocked that there's still so many I've yet to cover. One of these is a giant lizard that stands on its legs and is said to be about 5 feet tall. Some believe that this animal is similar to a velociraptor, some believe it's more like a Komodo dragon, but can walk for long periods of time on its back legs. These very large lizards are said to be nocturnal and are at times seen by the locals raiding fresh graves. One recent sighting happened in 2014 when an island guide claimed that one day he saw 10 of these creatures trying to eat a friend of his that just died. And this guide was extremely disturbed by this, so he had his friend's body moved to another location. Now, sightings of these creatures are extremely rare, but the people who live here believe without a shadow of a doubt that they do exist. Now, compared to most monster sightings that I cover, 5 feet doesn't sound very tall, but could you imagine a 5-foot lizard running right towards you? I don't know about you, but that would scare me to death. Another creature that is said to inhabit this region is the orang bati, a flying creature that, according to sightings, looks like a large flying ape and is believed to live in volcanoes. These monstrous-looking things are said to have black leathery wings, glowing eyes, and they have an ape-like appearance. These creatures, even by the natives, are rarely seen. Over the centuries, there have been a few sightings from Westerners, mainly by missionaries. Zoologists think that these sightings are nothing more than flying foxes, and I'm sure that some of them could be, as the flying fox is the biggest bat in the world. They're huge. But the natives say that there's another, larger flying animal that lives in this region, and they see these flying foxes all the time. So I think they would know the difference between a flying fox and another animal. There is a well-known sighting from a missionary that happened in 1987. And this man believed that what he saw was no flying fox. This creature scared him to death. It was huge. And the locals say that these creatures have been known to raid villages and kidnap small children. So if these stories are true, this, whatever it is, would have to be extremely large, way bigger than a flying fox. And the orang bati basically means men with wings. Now, what I find fascinating about the description of this creature is that it kind of looks like the bat squatch, a cryptid that I covered last month. And the natives do believe that the orang bati lives in volcanoes, and the bat squatch was first reported in North America right after Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980. Making cryptozoologists believe that the bat squatch lived in Mount St. Helens, and the eruption forced it out. Interesting indeed. So it makes me believe that there has to be a connection between the orang bati and the so-called bat squatch. Another cryptid, or thought to be extinct dinosaur, allegedly lives in Papua New Guinea. This huge semi-aquatic animal has a name that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. I'm also pretty sure I got the last one wrong as well. But anyway, this creature is believed to be a dinosaur very similar to that of Bokele Mbembe of the Congo. This semi-aquatic creature is said to be brown with a long neck, a turtle-like head, and is 40 to 50 feet long. It's mostly seen in the water, but there have been a few sightings of it on land. One such sighting happened in 2005 when an eyewitness, Robert, claimed that he saw it eating vegetation. He stated that this creature was huge, walked on 2 legs, and had a very long neck. And when it was done eating, it went back into the water and swam away. Now, Robert believed that he saw a dinosaur, and he isn't the only one. That very same year, there was a sighting by a couple while they were visiting a beach. This couple claimed that they spotted a reptilian creature that was 65 feet long getting into the water. And this couple was freaking out. They couldn't believe what they had seen. And they basically described the same thing as Robert. And they also believed that they saw a dinosaur. Now, this creature has been seen many times over the years, or so eyewitnesses claim. But it's rarely seen outside of the water, making these 2 sightings extremely interesting. There are also sightings of the megalania here as well. And I have covered this before, but for the ones that haven't seen that video, I'll go over one very interesting sighting. One day, a French priest who just arrived to New Guinea claims that he saw one. While the priest was traveling down the river with his guides, he saw a huge lizard lying on a log. Now, this priest could not believe how big this lizard was, so he wanted to stop, but the guides were terrified and they just kept on going. So the next day, the priest returned to this area and he found the log that this lizard was lying on. But the lizard was nowhere to be seen, and after measuring the log, he believed that this lizard must have been 40 feet long. And this priest kept trying to find this lizard, but he never saw one again. Now, since we're on the subject of giant lizards, I have been getting a few requests to cover the Milton lizard of Kentucky after I released that megalania video. In the summer of 1975, a huge 15-foot lizard was seen at Canop Creek near the town of Milton. One sighting happened at a body shop by a man named Clarence. Clarence claimed that he saw this creature come out from behind some wrecked vehicles, and he said that it had frog-like eyes, had black and white stripes across its body, a fork-like tongue, and was huge. Then after a couple of weeks, the sightings just stopped and this huge lizard was never seen again. But some believe that it wasn't a monster or an unknown species, but a Komodo dragon that somehow got released into this area. But the Komodo dragon isn't 15 feet long. It's huge but not that long, making people wonder, what the heck did these eyewitnesses see? Another creature that is believed to live in New Guinea is a huge reptilian creature called the gazeka, or the devil pig. One famous sighting happened in 1910 when an explorer claimed that one day while he was out hunting, he stumbled upon some very large tracks, so he decided to follow them. And not too long after, he saw two of these creatures, and they looked extremely bizarre to him. He had never seen anything like it before. Now this man was a hunter, so he wanted to kill them. But thankfully for the gazeka, he was overcome with fear and he missed. And after the gunshot, one of these creatures turned and looked at him. And when they made eye contact, this hunter was struck with fear. And when he finally made it back to camp, he told the other explorers what had happened to him. And he called them the devil pig. Now there have been many other sightings over the years, and some believe that this gazeka might be a giant ground sloth. One of the most famous creatures, believed by many to live in this region, is the Ropen. One interesting sighting happened shortly after World War II when a man, Dwayne, was walking down a trail. And while he was walking, he heard a lot of noise coming from the bushes. Then he saw a huge bird take off into the skies, and Dwayne estimated that the wingspan was as big as a small plane. He truly believed that he was looking at a dinosaur. Now after this sighting, Dwayne started to ask a lot of questions. He wanted to know what the heck it was that he saw, and he learned that he wasn't the only one. One of the first reported sightings happened in 1935 by a biologist, Evelyn Cheesman. One night she saw something moving strangely in the sky that was glowing. And as she was watching, wondering what the heck this thing was, she realized that it was a bird, a huge bird. And over the years, she saw them a couple more times. She even wrote about them in her book. Now, over the years, there have been tons of sightings of the Ropen, and I'm going to make a more separate, more in-depth video about them soon. There's also an interesting map from the 14th century that shows a strange bird-like monster flying over this region. Interesting indeed. Now, there are places in New Guinea and Indonesia that are extremely isolated. The forest is so thick here, making it extremely difficult for us humans to explore it. There are even tribes that are rarely seen. So I think it's definitely possible that there could be a large creature still hiding from us, just waiting to be discovered. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.